Hello everybody. So in today's video I'm going to be drawing y'all an Indian snack called chai and samosa. Chai is pretty much just the Hindi term for tea, and then samosa is just a widely consumed snack all across India, Pakistan, and some parts of the Middle East, or actually all parts of the Middle East, and the chai. So with that being said, I've already drawn the rough drawing of the tea and the samosa ahead of time. Just reduce the opacity down to about 10, and now I'm going to make a new layer, and the canvas size is 3000 by 2000 pixels, and the reason I chose that is just so it's easier for the tablet to process it. So with that being said, let's begin. I'm going to first start out by drawing the top of the cup, or the glass cup. This brush, by the way, I'm using is called a vector brush. For anybody that hasn't used Adobe Fresco, it's a really cool brush. That's like as if you were just drawing with a digital version of a Sharpie. That's what I like most about it. I mean, I know Adobe Illustrator is the industry standard for, and most people use it, but I like how easy this is to use. So now I'm gonna start with the side of the glass and just curve it around over here. Just gonna duplicate that on this side. Now I'm just gonna continue this line across. Oh, another thing I forgot to show you guys was, I don't know if you can see it down here, but I've set the brush to about 20, and then the smoothing I've turned it up to about 80. If you have it up to about 100, then it's a little bit laggy, but you have smooth and straight lines. And if you take it all the way down to about 0, it just makes the lines less of a drag, and it's more jagged looking. So that being said, I'm going to continue with the drawing the tea in the mug or glass. You have the top of the glass done now. Now I'm going to work on the sides. And then just curve it down over here. I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side now. And then I'm going to connect this line from here. The next thing I'm going to do is just these grooves in the glass that are there to hold on to the glass so it doesn't slip from your hand. Because most of these glasses are handed to the customer when they're somewhat semi-wet, so that they're reused, or at least in the older times. And I'm just going to repeat this pattern. And just continue up the line till here. I'm going to show you why I went past this line in a little bit. You notice how the lines are a little bit jagged somewhat is because the smoothing on the brush is at 80. If I turn it all the way down, it would look almost like I'm drawing it digitally, but also traditionally, because like the lines wouldn't be as straight and perfect. Then I'm just going to continue this curved line over here and bring it up to here. Now for these lines that I went past, what I'm gonna do is double tap this little icon at the bottom. I don't know if you can actually see it. I can show it to you guys, but pretty much what it is it's just a little disc down here that if you double tap it, it becomes white and then blue on the outside, which is the vector trimming brush. And if you single tap it, it turns blue in the center, which turns the current pen you're using into an eraser. So I'm gonna double tap it, and by just making these lines, I can go ahead and trim these without having to kind of go till the edge. So all I have to do is make this little blue line, and boom. That's the cool part about vector trimming, which you could do manually if you were using Procreate, but it wouldn't be the same. So now what I'm gonna do is draw the wonderful Samosa. And another thing that you can do with these brushes is if you push down, it becomes thick, the line, and then if you let go, the line becomes thin and thick wherever you push down. So that just gives it an additional digital look, even though it's done, well, I mean, what I meant to say is it gives it a traditional look even though it was done digitally. Just gonna follow these lines. Just curve it around over here. Just gonna go past this line so I can use the vector trimming again. Now I'm just gonna continue drawing the Samosa. Gonna now draw the plate, which is drawing a oval shape going through the Samosa. And just like that, you can draw the outside of the plate. Now I'm gonna draw the underneath of the plate. Double tap again and erase. The other thing extra that I'm gonna draw that I didn't draw ahead of time is I'm just gonna draw some swirly lines on top of the Samosa so it looks like the Samosa is hot and there's steam coming off it. And there we have it, people. We have our nice chai and the Samosa. Now usually at this point of the video I usually do a time lapse and color this in, but because of a special request I got from some of my subscribers, I'm gonna actually slow down the process and do the coloring. So with that being said, let me go ahead and show you how I choose the colors, or actually, since that might take a little bit of time, I'll choose the colors and then I will get back with you in a few seconds and show you what I'm gonna color with. Alrighty people, now with the magic of editing, I am back. The first thing I'm gonna show you is these are the color swatches that I chose, and this one is going to be the color of the tea, that's going to be the shade, and then that's going to be the highlight, that's going to be the color of the glass, again the shade and then the highlight, that's going to be the color of the Samosa, the shading and then the highlight, and then finally that's going to be the color of the plate, the shadow and then the highlight. So now before I start coloring, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this line art layer into a reference layer, and pretty much what that does is when I drop the colors onto this layer, it doesn't affect this line art layer. And what that does is if you plan on turning any of your art into stickers or a coloring book, you have your colors on one layer and then your line art is on a separate layer. So if you do ever mess up with the colors, all you got to do is delete that layer and restart back up. But that's obviously for an advanced tutorial of an Adobe Fresco thing, which I don't know if I'll ever do it on this channel, but if a lot of people do ask for it, maybe I'll show you like small things of what I do know, because my knowledge is pretty much based on following the instructions of another art YouTuber that I watch, and he's a professional illustrator, and I just watch his channel and learn things on Adobe Fresco. But anyway, let's get started. So I've turned on the reference layer, and now I'm going to do is select the paint bucket, and first gonna select the cup or the color for the T, and then I'm just gonna tap. And now what I'm gonna do is select that color, and then that's gonna be the color of the glass. And because usually this would be like a opacity thing of showing the glass and the color of the T. I don't know if I'm going to get too much into that, so what I'm going to do is just show it as being T in the glass, and then I'm going to select this color back again and finish off with that. So now we have the color of the glass and then the color of the T and the glass again. Next thing I'm going to do is select this color and then just tap on the Samosa, and then finally select that color again, tap, and now we have the color of the plate. So for the next thing, what I'm going to do now is make a new layer by tapping that. And you notice how I had this color layer selected before I tap that, so then that way when I select this and have a new layer come, it shows up right above that, because whatever shading I do on this layer is going to show up on this color layer at the bottom. I'm going to tap this button over here to make it a clipping mask, so whatever I do color on this layer is just going to show up on the colors down here. So now for that, what I'm going to do is I'm first going to start out with let's start with the T. Select that. Now for this part, sometimes I use the selection tool, or sometimes I just use the brush. It depends on what I'm coloring. So now for this, since it's just going to be major chunks of the glass, I'm just going to use the selection tool and then just draw like I normally would. And then, oh yeah, that's another thing, is what I forgot to say is when you are coloring in when you make a new layer and you're about to color, it asks you for an option if you want to color it as vector or pixel. It defaults to pixel, but for this one, since it's all vector, I'm going to select vector, and now all of the colors that are going down are also vector colors. So if I choose to ever export this image and scale it up small or large, the colors, the colors will actually stay crispy looking, like I want to call it, and it doesn't get pixelated like raster art. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. And that's pretty much it for the shading. I mean, there's how you shade it is all based on what is your understanding of color and light. For me, I'm still learning and always will be in learning mode. And always, if I don't get something done right, always look to other artists that are out there and learn from them, and then just experiment it when the camera's not running. Because when it comes to shading, I mean, there's so many different styles of shading that you can do. So it's always good to just keep experimenting and see what you like. Now for this, to make it look like it's got like a curved look, I'm going to use the selection tool again, and then just start with this side over here. And what's cool about this part of the selection tool is, I mean, you can just draw manually and the color will just fill inside this. It'll also fill over here if I touch the paint bucket, but I'm only going to use it on the part of the T. And then we have that, and then if I want to round that up, I'm just going to zoom in. And that's another thing with vector. I mean, I can just, or not just with vector, with Adobe Fresco, just like Procreate, you can do that. 2-finger tap and it goes away, 3-finger tap and it comes back. So now for the rest of it, gonna keep doing what I just told you and work my way around the art, and then I will show you the final piece at the very end. I'll just do a time lapse now and finish all the shading, and then I'll show you the colored piece at the end of it all. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, especially because usually I don't really do this part and tell you what I'm doing. I just do it as a time lapse, but since somebody asked, I thought I'd do it and show it to them. So with that being said, thanks for following along drawing, and hopefully I will stay till the end and see what the final piece looks like. So till the next time, keep coloring, keep drawing, take care, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.